we're here in this world for a purpose, and just really trying to find my purpose.
It was really hard watching her go through what she went through.
Yeah, I mean, I would say losing my son.
Welcome to Carla Cash Out Loud. I'm Carla, and I travel around the East Coast, mainly my home state of Virginia, talking to real people, getting their real stories about real life, real situations, real feelings. Many of them are saying those feelings and emotions for the first time out loud. Today I'm traveling around Virginia asking people what their favorite Christmas memory is. Here's what they've got to say. And be sure to stay till the end, because that's when I'll tell you my favorite Christmas memory from my childhood.
Every year, without fail, my older sister would wake me up after she went and looked to see what was there. She would then come with me, and then we'd sneak down together to go see before we go wake the parents up. And depending on which house we're at, if we were with my mom and stepdad, we would wait at the top of the stairs until they told us we could come down. And if we were with my dad, we would wait on his bed until he was set up with the video camera. And then when he was ready, he'd have us stand at the very end of the hall until he told us to start, and he would record us walking down the hall to see the Christmas tree for what he would think was the very first time. But it was really our second time, because he loved getting that expression, even if it was the second time around and he didn't know it.
Actually, about 14 years ago, when our surprise blessing, Malia, we thought we were done, but we had a surprise blessing, and that first Christmas was just wonderful. Just having another new baby in the house when we thought we were done. We were looking at grandkids, not another child to raise, but it's been wonderful.
I'm going to say that my favorite one that I can remember this far is probably being able to see the excitement of, coming down the stairs Christmas morning and seeing them light up. Like it's magic for them. So that's awesome. To adults, it's a little more work than magic, but for them it's magic, and it's nice to see that, the innocence again, and being able to see that joy and happiness. That's pretty cool. So I do remember that from, last year and the year before last. There was two big ones because there was two children, so that was a big deal. But unfortunately, I don't remember a whole lot of mine. I do remember, being able to, wake up. I'd wake up super early on Christmas morning, and 6 o'clock in the morning, I'd be waking up mom and dad. Hey, we need to go look at the tree. We got to go look at the tree. I'm looking forward to making many more with the girls, so that I can see that magic as long as possible.
I would have to say when we have all the kids here and their children, and we don't have that anymore because they all have their own homes that they're at for whatever reason. As a child, we always went to the grandparents, but now they don't do that. They stay at home because apparently it was too taxing to have to go to the grandparents. And I miss that. I do miss that.
Does that make you sad?
Yeah. But they're entitled to their decisions. They are. I will spend time with my mom, or here home alone with my daughter and my husband and my dogs. And then we'll go up to his family's house. But I do miss the Christmas morning when everybody came over to open presents and have breakfast.
I don't remember what year it was, but my dad, he gave me a bag of apples instead of the Apple Pencil that he was gonna give me. Yeah.
I don't know if I have one. No, I don't actually.
What would be your ideal Christmas?
Probably to have a memorable one with family.
Why do you think you don't remember?
My father's military, and he did several tours, U.S. Navy, on a ship. So I know my mother would have tried to have made them the best that she possibly could, but the fact is, when you're a military family, sometimes your father can't always be there. But when I look back on my life, I don't remember having an absentee father. That's not what my memories are. My memories are my father was there for every important basketball game, every important swim meet. He was even the head timer. But for Christmas, I guess we had such a small nuclear family that we just didn't have all of that. We did Old Town traditions. I dressed up as George Washington, but for opening presents and stuff like that, I don't really have many memories of that.
Well, tell me about dressing up like George Washington.
As you know, Old Town Alexandria in Virginia is very patriotic. We throw a parade for everything. It is very much like Stars Hollow. And so you had to dress up like one of the Founding Fathers, and I pulled George Washington out of the hat in this very elaborate wig, and there's a parade for everything in Old Town Alexandria.
When I was young, every Christmas Eve, we would go to my Nana's house and we would open presents with my Nana and we would have dinner with her. And then we would wake up Christmas morning. And my family all lived in the same neighborhood, so my aunts and uncles would come and my grandparents would come and everybody would just watch us, see what we got from Santa, open presents for mom and dad. And then we'd have Christmas breakfast, and then we'd go do Christmas with my other set of grandparents, and just the constant Christmas tradition and having that close-knit family, being with everybody, and then turning around and doing it for my girls. And I tell people all the time that when I was little, and I would get presents, I would just think, this is the best thing ever. I don't know how mom and dad even enjoy Christmases. They get like nothing. And now, as an adult, and buying for my kids, the best Christmas present for me is being able to do for them and give them fun things and watch the Christmas cheer and joy from their eyes. And still, our traditions have changed a little because we've lost some family members, but we still have our own traditions now. What's the best part of Christmas? Do you have a favorite Christmas memory?
I have to.
What are you doing?
Being with my family, Carol, Mommy, Daddy, Zuma, Dolly, and loving Jesus.
Good job.
My my favorite Christmas memories may surprise you actually, because they're not Norman Rockwell painting type memories. One is from my childhood and one is from my adult years. From my childhood, my grandmother actually passed away on Christmas Eve when I was 8 years old. And we were traveling to get to my grandparents' house because she had passed away. And I remember my father and my mother both, this was my mother's mother, and they were both taking great care to make sure that I knew that Santa was going to find me. Now here my mother had just lost her mother, but she had an 8-year-old that she was concerned about to make sure that I knew that Santa was going to find me. And I remember back then we didn't have NORAD, we didn't have GPS. This was, you know, we're talking the early 1970s. And I remember my father would find radio stations that had the different Santa updates. And as we would drive down the road and one radio station would go out of frequency or you couldn't pick that station up anymore, he'd find another radio station that was giving Santa updates. And he'd say, see, he's on his way, he's on his way, he's on his way. Well, the next morning, I woke up and Santa had indeed found me. And I just think how loving that was of my parents in their time of grief to make sure that their child was taken care of. That just will always be a favorite memory for me because of that. My other favorite Christmas memory comes from my adult years, and it might definitely surprise you because it's not a happy story, but it's uplifting to me because of the end and the outcome and the hope for a happy ending. I remember I was living in Richmond, the capital of Virginia, and I wasn't sure that I was going to stay, so I had found this really small little guest house that I was renting in the back of a main house. And it wasn't fancy. There was nothing fancy about it. I certainly wasn't living the high life by any stretch of the imagination at that time. And every night I would stop on my way home from work and I would stop in a convenience store and I would get a pack of crackers and a diet drink. And that was my ritual every night, was to stop at this convenience store, which wasn't far from my house, and I'd get a pack of crackers and a drink. And that was my snack for the night. And I remember this particular time of year, it was always full of hunters, and you would pull into the parking lot and there was a sea of trucks and a sea of blaze orange vests, and they would all be, you know, talking about their hunt for the day. Well, this particular time, it was not full of hunters. There was a woman standing in the parking lot with a baby, which that didn't strike me as unusual, but what was unusual was she came up to me with this look on her face and she said, "Are you from the YWCA?" And I knew instantly what that meant, because in our area, the YWCA was also a women's shelter for battered women and children. And here it was Christmas Eve. It was Christmas Eve, and here she was out in the cold, trying to find a place to stay, much like the original Christmas story, a woman and a baby with no place to go. And she was waiting for a ride to pick her up to take her to a homeless shelter for battered women and children. And I said, "No, I'm not, but I have my phone and I can call somebody for you." And the look of disappointment that just washed over her face, she said, "No, that's okay, I'll wait." Well, I went inside to get my drink and my crackers, and I couldn't get her off my mind. And I kept digging through my purse, and all I could find was $3. And I said, "I know I've got more money in here somewhere." All I could find was $3. Well, I went outside, and the woman from the YWCA had come, and she was fitting a baby seat into the back, so because the woman had nothing. She had no suitcases, no baby seat, no nothing. She was, the woman from the YWCA was trying to fit a baby seat to put the baby in. And I walked up to the woman and I just hugged her, and we both just started to sob. And I handed her the $3 and I said, "This is all I have, but I want you to take it. And I want you to love that baby, and I want you to have a good, safe, happy, Merry Christmas." And that memory will stay with me for the rest of my life because it was just so poignant in my life. And that's been 30 years ago. And that baby is a grown woman now, probably with her own children. And I will never, ever forget that. Never forget that. So if you would, in the comment section below, tell me your favorite Christmas memories. If you're liking these types of videos, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Share this video with someone who might enjoy it during this time of year, and be sure in the comment section to tell me your favorite Christmas memories as well. I'm Carla, this is Carla Cash Out Loud, and until next time, live out loud, share your feelings, send me a message, and I'll see you next time. Bye.